Okay, here we go. This is not new. This is old Algebra 1 stuff. This is just a reminder, so it's a review. Because it's a review, I'm going to go very quickly. If you blink, you might miss something. So focus. All right, here we go. The zero exponent is this property. Anything to the 0 power equals 1.
Yes.
I think even 0 to the 0 is 1. But anyways, all right. So here, this whole parenthesis saying this exponent of 0 applies to this. Therefore, the answer is 1. Okay? Now, some confusion as to how exponents work. This exponent of 0 is only on the x. The 8 is not affected by that exponent. So it's 8 times 1. So it's 8 times 1 plus 5. So it's just 8 plus 5, which is 13.
Oh.
All right. So that's just the 0 exponent. Now let's talk about negative exponents. So if you have a negative exponent, you can go into the denominator. It becomes a positive exponent. You take the base with you and the exponent with you, but nothing else. You can also do it the other direction. If I have 1 over 8 to the negative end, you can put it in the numerator and make it positive. So the negative exponent, you change where you are, and the exponent becomes positive. Sorry. When I say change where you are, I mean from numerator to denominator, or from denominator to numerator. Okay? That's what I mean by change position. Change either from the numerator to denominator or denominator to numerator. All right. Moving on. So 2 to the negative 3. So do you guys understand when I say this is the numerator, even though there is no literal fraction?
Yes.
Right? Because anything can have a 1 underneath. So that's why I say that's a numerator.
2.
So you're going to put it into the denominator and make it a positive exponent. Well, what's 2 to the 3rd power? That's right, it's 8.
Also, you have to simplify it down.
Yes, you got to simplify it down. Right, Job? All right. Moving on. So this, you just have a negative exponent, so you're going to write it as a positive exponent, and you can put it into the denominator, make it positive. Generally speaking, most directions are going to require that you do not leave any negative exponents. Do not leave any negative exponents. And that's going to be generally true up through halfway through calculus. When you hit calculus, people don't care anymore about some stuff like that. But until then, we're going to care. When we have products of bases that are the same, and those bases have exponents on them, you're going to add the exponents when you multiply. So here, and also when it gets to be big, and when we say big, it doesn't take much for an exponent to be big. If it's close to 10 or higher, then the exponent's pretty big. Okay, so like this one. So you're going to add the exponent, so it's 5 to the 8. 2 plus 6 is 8. So yeah, unless you have a calculator, we don't expect you to figure this out. So that would be too much work. Yes, we are lazy. And yeah, just leave it like that. Well, let's leave it. All right. Here we have y's. They're all the same base. What are the exponents?
8.
Okay, how's it getting 8? There's a 4 and a 3.
There's a
1. That's right. The invisible 1. So that's right. So it's y to the 8. 4 plus 3 plus 1. See, you guys already know how to do this. Next part. Okay, so 7 and 6 are not exponents. So what do I do with those when it's multiplication? 42. You multiply those together. And it's y to the 6. Right? You add 5 plus 1 makes 6.
This is freaking awesome.
Right, don't you want this on the test? Alright. Next one. What do I multiply? 3 and 5, making it negative 15. And x gets what exponent? 3. And the y gets 13. That's right. So, because they're different bases, you don't mix their exponents, right? You have an x over here and another x. You mix their exponents. You add those exponents. But you're not going to add 3 and 13. You're going to leave that alone. This is the final answer. Next part. What do you do when you have this kind of exponent, or this kind of situation? Subtract. So 9 minus 6 is 3. And it's just 7 to the third. Okay, you always do top minus the bottom. Or you can do it the other way sometimes. All right, let's go to the next one. Wait, what's 7 to the third? Anybody know? 343? 343.
Yeah. Do you have to do that?
Well, 3 is not that big. So, and plus you can use a calculator, so. Calculator should say no number's too big. All right. What is it? Y to the fifth, yeah. 6 minus 1 is 5, so that's 5. Y to the fifth. Moving on. All right, 12 and 18 are not exponents, so you're going to just reduce those. 6 goes into 12 and 18, so it's 2/3. Now, subtract the exponents. You're going to do 7 minus 3, making it 4, x to the fourth, and y to the third. That's right.
Was that thunder?
That was somebody dragging a chair in the next room.
Oh dang.
It came from inside the building.
I love it when the storms in your school.
All right, next example.
Scary.
9/15, they're just coefficients, so you reduce them like normal. 3 goes into 9 and 15, so it'll be 3/5. Now, I'm going to do this one in 2 steps to avoid confusion. So you're going to do -2 minus -1. What's -2 minus -1?
Negative 3.
Let's try it one more time. What's -2? Huh?
Negative 1.
-1. Right? It was -2 minus
Because a
-1.
minus for your plus.
That's right. And what is 6 minus -3? 9. All right. Now, you're not allowed to leave negative exponents. You're not allowed to leave negative exponents. So you're only going to move the one thing with the negative exponent. That's the x, and you're going to put it in the denominator. And since the exponent is 1, I'm not going to bother to write it.
And that's it. That kind of got a little condensed right there.
It was just 2 steps.
It was a lot. So, why do you take the x to the bottom?
Because it had a negative exponent.
Why doesn't it just become 3x? 3x, why 9? Why? Because it has negative, so then you have to drop it down?
Yeah. All right. Moving to the back. So, whenever we have powers with powers, you're going to multiply those exponents. You're going to multiply them. So here, when I have x to the fourth being raised to the fifth, it's going to be x to the 20th. 4 times 5 is 20.
Hey, that's a big number.
What about this one? 2 to the... Okay, definitely... I wouldn't expect you to do that by hand. I'm sorry. 5 times 3 I expect you to be able to do. But 2 to the 15, I'm going to just leave it like that. I know what 2 to the 10th is. What's 2 to the 15th?
What's 2 to the 10th?
1,024. 2 to the 11th is 2,048. 4,096.
32,768.
That's 32,768? Oh. What am I thinking of? All right. Oh, we were just told that this is 32,768. That sounds right. Oh, because 2 to the 16 is 64,000. All right. Or 65,000. Okay, here we go. So, you're going to distribute that 7. So you're going to multiply each of those by 7. So this is x to the 42, y to the 63. Multiply the 6 and 7 to get the 42. Multiply the 9 and the 7 to get 63. Alright? Moving. Okay, so this time the 3 is not an exponent, it's a coefficient. So you're just going to apply the 2 to it, right? So it's going to be 3 to the second power. The exponents you multiply, 4 times 2 is 8. But you can't stop here because 3 squared you are expected to be able to simplify.
That's 9.
That's 9, so it's 9x to the 8th. His final answer.
I did it while I was in.
Wait, hold on. How do you do this? So basically,
That's fine.
Can you just go straight to?
You may.
Times, 3, 2 times 3.
All right, ready?
X4 squared. And then you get, that'll make no sense. 3 squared. What's 3 squared?
9.
What's X4 squared? So basically just 4 times 2. What's that? But how do you get 3 squared? Because you just take the 3 and you see the 2 up there, you square it. That's how
You distribute the exponent of 2 to both pieces. 3 is a coefficient.
I got you. 3 squared is 9. Yeah.
All right. Next one. So I'm going to distribute the negative 2. I'm distributing the negative 2. So that's 7 to the negative 2, x to the negative 2, y to the positive 4. Right? But I have negative exponents, which is not allowed. So I'm going to rewrite it. I do have a positive exponent, so I'm going to leave that in the numerator. That's y to the 4th. And put in the denominator 7 squared x squared. But 7 squared you should be able to do, right? What's 7 squared? 49. So I'm going to write 49x squared in the denominator. If you skip this step, that's fine. You skip any of these steps, that's fine.
Hey, Slicer, after next week we'll be on spring break.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do on spring break?
Sleep.
Good. You going to
I'm going to play Tales of Arise.
You going to Buford?
No.
He's gonna say yes.
All right.
You should get a tattoo of a strawberry.
Mr. Slicer, you should go fish on me and read.
No. I just like going fishing with my dad.
You do or don't?
I didn't.
You hated it?
I wouldn't say I hated it, but I didn't like it.
It was big.
6 to the negative 2. 6 to the negative 2. X to the what power?
12.
12. Y to the what power?
14.
14. Z to the what power?
0.
0. Since it's to the 0 power, I'm not even going to bother to write it.
I thought it was 1.
It's 1. What's 1 times anything?
1.
Anything.
Oh, that number.
Right. So I'm not even going to bother to write the 1. So I only have one negative exponent left, so that's the only one I got to deal with. So I'm going to write x to the 12, y to the 14 over what? 6 squared, which is, well, I'll write 6 squared. Yeah, exactly, 36. So x to the 12, y to the 14 over 36.
What happened to the z?
It was z to the 0. And z to the 0 is 1, so it basically goes away.
First time back.
All right, ready? Last 4 examples. Yes. All right. So you're going to distribute that exponent again. So that same thing as 3 squared over 5 squared, which is 9 over 25.
What's that simplified out to?
That's it.
3 over 5.
It does not reduce to 3 5.
What? Maybe 9/15.
Yeah, but 3 does not go into 25. All right? Continuing. So you're going to distribute that exponent. So that's 2 squared, which is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. 7 times 2 is 14. That's all you're doing. You apply the exponent to the coefficient. With the other exponents, you just multiply them. 5 times 2 is 10. 7 times 2 is 14.
You don't have to put a 2 for 4?
What I did was I did 2 squared, and I just said that's 4. Right, so I skipped a step. So this is the step by step. This is the skip I stepped. Right, so A 10, B 14. So 2 squared is 4. All right. Next one. So it's 3 to the 3rd. So I won't skip that step.
27.
I won't. Yes, it's 27. Yeah, and it's A to the
4th.
negative 12.
Oh.
b to the 21. Okay, so 3 to the third I know is 27. And a to the negative 12 goes to the denominator, it becomes a positive exponent. And I'm leaving the b alone.
A4, B21.
Leave that b alone.
That's it?
One more example and I'm done for today.
That was the only time I've ever gotten stung by a bee.
Oh.
Hey,
Yeah, look at
Alright, I am now distributing the negative exponents. So that's going to be a to the positive 12, b to the positive 30, and c to the negative 66 in the denominator.
Golly.
Alright, so I got one negative exponent. And remember, if it's a negative exponent, you got to get rid of that negative sign. So it's in the denominator, so it's going to move to the numerator, become a positive exponent. And since there is no denominator, nothing left in the denominator, I don't even bother to write. What are you?
She's being an ogre.
It just looks like Ashley is offering up cell phones to the gods.
Sounds like bingo. Bingo.
that's it?
And I am done. Let's close out this video.
That wasn't bad. That was stuff I've done before.